Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kyusho here, and now, before we do start, let's give a brief little review. In the last part, we had Spider-Man, who, he was doing quite a bit. He popped back up in New York City, and he has taken a stand against Regent. Now, Regent is well aware of Spider-Man's return. He's been annoyed. He has been pissed. And he has his Sinister Six ready to take him on. Now, Deku, Deku's done quite a lot. He is showing Spider-Man's return, and people are definitely intrigued. They thought he died years ago, but now he's alive. And Regent has plans for this. He finds it to be quite intriguing. Years ago, he killed Spider-Man on a whim, but now that he's back, his powers can definitely be of use to him. Spider-Man always has a way of doing things. And during the Spider Island event, he heard a lot of things going on. Back before he began developing spider powers himself, he remembers what happened. That strange alarm in your head. He wants that alarm back now. It's one of the only ways he can stand against Doctor Doom and his forces. Regent, he is many things, and he considers himself to be a god. But he isn't. He's just a man in a suit. And there is a drawback to that suit, and exactly how he's been doing things the last few years. If Spider-Man finds out about it, it may invigorate him. However, he can't let anyone know. Now, with that being said, while Deku and Cindy, they were showing their appearance, somebody else made an appearance as well. One of their children is in New York, and they have been swinging around the city and doing quite a lot. Now then, with that being said, we do currently pick up with Izuku. Izuku is in his civilian identity, and things have definitely been intriguing. What is it, another 10 pounds of muscle? Okay, so he has felt his strength go up considerably. Things feel a lot more fragile. Even before, he had to be careful, but now he feels different. He's made improvements, but he can only assume Regent has made improvements as well. Superior strength, superior senses, increased inorganic webbing regeneration. Okay. These are the only things he's noticed. His strength and speed have gone up considerably. So there's that. It's nice, but shit. He should have probably put more spider genomes inside, right? A little bit more spider DNA. But that's a bad idea. He was going to lean back and look down. Definitely a bad idea. Though, Deku going to feel his phone buzz. I'm going to look down. And right now he does actually bring it up and answer it. Hello? Hi, it's Polaris. Hey, what's going on? There's a bit of a problem. I have not been able to find your daughter. She'll pop up eventually. She's probably fine. She's probably out swinging around the city, or no, she's not in Genosha. What? Degu's not going to stand up straighter. What do you mean she's not in Genosha? We can't find her. And it's a bit concerning. Okay, hang on a minute. Deku going to somewhat turn. Him looking at his computer. He swears if he searches it up and he finds any evidence of her, he's going to be angry. Him are now going to turn and type it in. Spider-Girl, New York. And he presses enter. As a few things start to pop up. There are videos, and there's evidence. And Deku, he does get a bit more annoyed. Him so going to bring his hand up and grab onto the phone. Him going to bring it up. I found her. she's in New York, and she's being. I'm gonna call you back. I'm gonna hang up. And right now Deku does a stand up. Him going to put the phone in a drawer and gonna close it. Him right now going to lock it as he's actually grab his proper phone. Him right now going to walk towards the balcony and call Cindy. And Cindy, yeah, she's not happy to hear what she just heard. She's heard people talk about another spider person, but she thought that that could have just been someone who made spider tech, or maybe someone who was a mutant. It's a possibility, right? But things are definitely odd. And Deku right now, he is looking for his daughter. But somebody else, they have been searching for a spider. And Deku, he doesn't feel spider sense go off. Him swinging through the air blocks away from his work. And he actually does someone spin and turn. As he does start falling, he has to look behind him to see the Sinister Six. And Hobgoblin is among them. And Deku for a minute does try to think. He wonders if that's Harry. Harry should have still been in an asylum. Him right now going to throw his hands out towards the buildings, shooting webs and going to get pulled backwards like a slingshot, hemmings and flying forwards. As Deku is going to actually throw himself forwards and pull back his fist, him right now going to clothesline the Hobgoblin off his glider. And he does then going to fly forwards. Him looking around to see Mysterio. And Deku, he does see a few people among them. As there is, where he does actually swing down and around Mysterio, he does actually land on the bus. Him gonna turn. And he does get to see the Rhino. Him charging forwards on the ground. As cars, they try to fly up and out of the way. And Deku, he does take advantage of this. The car going to fly up because the person didn't want this to be hit. And Izuku, the moment it does go up into the air, Deku, he does actually run forwards and over. Him going to grab onto the side and swing down underneath. Him actually going to collide with the Rhino's back. Him smashing into him as his person is just going to go off again. Deku going to dodge out of the way as he actually is going to bring his hand up. Him grabbing onto Kraven's arm and going to actually throw his arm or hand down towards his leg. Him stabbing the knife directly into Kraven. Deku bringing his hand up and smashing it into the back of Kraven's back. Him being sent tumbling forwards. As Kraven is trying to get back on his feet and Deku does look around. 5 people. This isn't good. Gotta stay, Spider. Kraven gonna don't turn, getting back on his feet. Him pulling the knife free from his leg and going to actually someone to lick the blood. He expresses about how this hunt will be proper, and it will be fun. Where's the 6th member? He's doing something else right now. He's hunting down the other. You're hunting down Silk. No, Spider-Man. Right now, I'm going to step forwards, making the remark. They're hunting down his kid. And Deku goes to stare at Rhino. The talon, or the spike, shooting from his wrist. And Deku, he immediately does a step forward towards Rhino. And Rhino does a stare. Spider-Man went quiet. And Deku goes to go rush forwards. The Rhino actually going to rush forwards as well. As so is Kraven. Kraven wants to get in on this. And Deku, the one he has to actually turn his head and see Kraven, he has to bring his hand out. Kraven rushing forwards with the knife as he has to actually bring his other hand up. And Deku, he immediately is going to grab Kraven by his arm and throw up his fist, smashing the spike directly into his stomach. Before Deku, he has to actually turn and throw Kraven with a lot of force. Kraven being sent smashing into a concrete wall. Deku going to turn back, as the Hobgoblin is flying towards him. Deku going to spin around and shoot a spiderweb directly into his hand, lobbing the pumpkin grenade to him. As Mysterio, he actually does float down, him beginning to create massive amounts of illusion and telling the Rhino what to do. As the Rhino does actually turn and rush forwards, him rushing towards Spider-Man as Deku does throw up his hands. Him going to stop the Rhino as Rhino the Rhino, he is rushing forwards at Deku. Then Deku, he does hold his hands up. Rhino the Rhino bringing his hands up, pushing in a Spider-Man with all the force he can. And Deku, he is actually still standing there. Him holding the Rhino back as Deku, he is moving backwards, slowly but steadily. His feet aren't digging into the ground though. Deku is taking steps backwards. Before Deku, he actually does pick up the Rhino and then going to smash him back down to the ground. And then he actually then going to grab him again by the horn, bring him up in the air, and throwing him directly over. Him smashing on the ground as Deku, he isn't actually going to land on the rhino. Him going to bring out the spike, and then going to bring it directly to his head, telling him, "Where is the last one?" "You're not Spider-Man." "I am. Now, I'm trying to protect my daughter. Do you really want to mess with me, Rhino?" You've changed." "Yeah, I grew up." This point where Deku's gonna look up, as there is Mysterio. Him and the Hobgoblin do stand there, and the two, they do have a bit of a plan. Deku's staring at both of them, him getting angry, as he actually jumps forwards off of the Rhino, him throwing out both of his hands, as the spike in his left hand smashes upwards into Mysterio's helmet, and pierces through his brain, killing him instantly, as Deku is going to actually throw his right hand up, smashing directly into the Hobgoblin, him piercing through the heart and picking him up into the air. As Deku, he is going to retract both blades, Hobgoblin falling to the ground, as Mysterio, he does then going to collapse backwards. And there is actually Craven. Craven, he got back up, and he saw that. And Deku was quite surprised. As right now, Rhino, he's a lot more happy. I'm going to somewhat spin over, as Deku, he is trying to think. Wait. Craven? Mysterio? Hob? Rhino? That's 4. There's not 5 of them. Deku's spinning back around, before he does actually see someone rushing towards him. Right now, them on a bike. Them throwing up their hand as Deku, he actually then going to spin out of the way. Him going to bring his hand up and clothesline Shocker off of a motorcycle. And Shocker, he is actually pulled up into the air, as Craven is going to turn, rushing towards Spider-Man. Him on his feet. Spider-Man is definitely a worthy prey, but he will not die here. Spider-Man, he held back for all these years. This will be definitely a fun battle. Deku telling Shocker. Shocker bring up his hand and trying to grab towards Spider-Man's head. Deku grabbing onto the gauntlet and going to start crushing it, as he is then going to bury Shocker into the ground. Him going to actually spin back around, feeling his Spider-Sense go off. Deku going to throw out a spike and bring his hand up, as Rhino is going to shoot out towards Craven. Deku a bit more surprised by that, as Craven is going to bring his hand up. Him catching the spike in the air, and then going to actually turn and throw it back at Deku. And Deku, he actually going to bring his hand up. Him catching it out of the air again, and going to spin it back around. Him going to bring it up and actually attack Craven with it. And Craven, he is going to make a comment. Him going to dodge out of the way of the attack, bring up his knife and try to attack Deku. He's definitely gotten better over the years. Him trying to slash at Deku's gut. And Deku, he is going to sidestep the attack, and the attack is going to bounce off of his body armor. Deku going to bring up his hand, grabbing Craven by his shoulder, and then going to push it down, pressure on it, breaking Craven's arm. And Craven is falling onto the ground. Right now, Deku going to step forwards. Him going to bring his hand onto the back of Craven's head, pulling him up in the air, and then going to bring his wrist directly to Craven's throat. Where is the 6th? You won't win. I'll kill you. Craven, I've held back the entire time I've ever fought you. My powers are stronger. You couldn't deal with me then. You can't deal with me now. You're a father trying to protect his young. I can understand that. You kill me, my daughter will come after you. Huh. You know, it doesn't surprise me that you've gotten laid. Though the fact that you're crazy enough to hunt me, yeah, that is surprising. Now, Craven, where is the 6th? Deku feeling his Spider-Sense go off. I'm going to spin and bring up his hand. Right now, I'm going to smack the Rhino across the block. And the Rhino, he is sent flying. Craven actually having his eyes widen at that. As Deku is going to spin his head back around towards Craven, falling silent. And Craven is going to stare on. Him going to bring up his hand and try and stab into Spider-Man. Try and get one more shot in. But Deku, he just does go throw out the spike from his wrist, and Craven is impaled. For Deku does let go of him and gonna spin back around. The Shocker's standing there, and Deku, he does stare at him. He felt the rhino's face. He felt the way it cracked and broke. The amount of force he used, yeah, he's dying from an injury right now. And the rhino, yeah, dealing with that guy, it's finally over with that. Deku looking directly at the Shocker. The Shocker does stand there still. I'm going to turn and run. Right now, him going to leap into a car. Him smashing the person out of it as he's going to turn and bring up the controls. Them going to hover it up into the air and trying to take off into the sky. However, Deku, he turned and started bolting. Him going to yell out for Shocker. Now, Shocker is trying to drive fast. And Deku, he actually was able to shoot out a web to the car. Him being dragged behind it, as he actually is trying to pull himself in. And Shocker, he does stare in the rearview mirror. Spider-Man screaming out for him. And Shocker, yeah, he does try to do some evasive maneuvers. Him trying to go up into the air and flying in between billboards. Him just trying to do what he can. Right now he goes up, down, a loop-de-loop, and around. He even tried to go under a bridge, hoping that that might have worked. He tried to do what he could. Right now he's just trying to go fast. However, there is a Deku, he has to throw his hand directly onto the car, sticking to it. Shocker, he was still going over 100. And Deku, he actually has to throw down his hand. Him going to smash it directly onto the vehicle. And Shocker doesn't hear the thud. As he actually spin his head around to see Spider-Man crawling towards him and bring his hand back, smashing it directly through the back window and bring his hand out, shooting a web into the front. Him going to rip open the glass as Shocker does to feel the wind. And Deku, he does it to climb into the back seat. Him going to bring his hand out and grabbing onto the wheel. Him going to angle it down as right now the car does a flying directly down. And Shocker is screaming out. Him buckled to this death trap. Now, Deku does it to pull back, and he actually does grab onto the Shocker and rip him from his seat, the two leaping backwards and out of the car. It going to crash into the ground. As Deku, he actually doesn't go to turn. The two flying through the air, and he has actually smashed down into the Shocker. Him going to bring his hand back and bring out the spike. Him yelling at Shocker, "Where is the sixth member?" "Just don't kill me, man. Listen, I'll tell you whatever you want. Just stop. Please." "Where is he?" "It's Kingpin." "Good. Now, I'm going to tell you this very, very clear. Go back to Regent. Tell him what you saw. Now, is there anything else you can tell me about him that could be useful?" I can't. He'll kill me. I'll kill you right now. Stop. Stop, please. You're not Spider-Man. You're the other guy, aren't you?" "No. I am Spider-Man. I'm just done dealing with all of you. Now, tell me something about Regent." They could bring down his hand and stabbing it down into his shoulder. "Otherwise, I'm going to kill you." "Okay, fine. He can't find any more heroes, and he's trying to go to war with Doom." "With Doom? Why?" "He needs a way to stabilize his power. He's been losing it since... I don't know how it works or the science behind it, but he's losing power." "He's weaker." "Yes, just..." Without Shocker going to someone stare up, Spider-Man's laughing. He's covered in blood and he's laughing. As right now there actually is Cindy. Cindy, she was a bit more on the alert. And she heard about what happened with the Sinister Six. People were reporting about how they were all taken down. And it was a slaughter. And Cindy, she actually looked around. She saw the way the people were all laid out. But there actually was Deku. Deku, while he was laughing, he let go of the shocker and went to go stand back up. And the shocker just laid there. Right now, him with his shoulder in a lot of pain, and his back feeling like he took a pretty bad hit. Right now, it's just adrenaline. But he might have just cracked something or hurt himself really badly without even realizing it. But he's alive. Right now, him bringing his hand up onto his shoulder. Him attempting to stand and someone gonna wince in pain. As Deku, right now he's at his turn. Him gonna swing away and try to find Regent. However, Deku, or not Regent, he tries to find Kingpin. However, Deku, while he does go to swing away, he does try to see a few things happen. All of a sudden, there's a massive sandstorm. And Deku, he's a bit more surprised. As whenever he does go to swing by somewhere, there is actually Sandman, who does start to form up. Him chasing after Izuku. And Deku doesn't want to spin around. Him going to reach down for his belt as Sandman is yelling out for him to stop because he wants to talk. And Deku, he does just stare at the man confused. Him yelling to him about how he kinda can't, he's busy. And he doesn't have time to deal with him. And Sandman does try to tell him, he's not an enemy. And Deku, he doesn't just gonna stare at him. Him going to swing faster and a bit harder. Him just thinking that Sandman, he has no right to say that. As Deku does arrive at Kingpin's location. And the man isn't here. And Deku's a lot more annoyed. As he doesn't feel his presence go off. Him going to actually turn and run. Him leaping out of the building as it is going to explode. And Deku, he is then ambushed by some of Kingpin's men. Them with guns and weapons. However, we do cut to an hour earlier. With Annabelle Midoriya. Who, she was swinging around the city. And she thought that this was a bit cool. She thought that this was a lot more interesting. I mean, being a hero at home, it's incredible. Dad always said about their powers that they were bad to use and that they shouldn't use them. But this feels natural. This feels better. A part of her feels like this is just instinct. Is this how Dad feels? Is this how Mom feels? That being on her mind, her swinging up into the air. Her relationship with Mom is a bit strange. I mean, she knows that she's smart enough to know that Cindy isn't her actual mother. But does Ben even realize that? I mean, from what she understands, she'll have to look into that a bit more. The math doesn't add up, and, well, there was Eric. She just knows that her relationship with Mom is a bit weird. And Dad is not distant, but he seems a bit strange sometimes. Huh. Though if he's worried about this all the time, she guesses she can kind of understand. Her spider sense going off. Right now, her going to throw out her hand and shoot out a web and dodging out of the way of gunfire. Her flying through the air as she actually does land on a street post or a street lamp. Her going to turn and leap out of the way again. Her going to swing underneath and around. Her laying on the ground and going to do a cartwheel. Her leaping through the air and landing on a car. Her going to spin around as the person right now is going to reload. Her throwing up her hands and shooting out organic webs. As they do to cover the guns, and she's going to make a comment. You know, they really shouldn't be playing with those toys. Her throwing up her hands and shooting out more webs, leaping out in the air. And right now the guys, they do get a comment about it. She's just like her damn father. And right now Regent, he does get to watch on. He doesn't want to get involved. If he does, he'll start to lose that power again. And it's too valuable right now. Damn it. Okay. So, he has to figure this all out. Get things prepared. And right now, Deku, he's unaware as to what's about to happen. As Annabelle, she is then ambushed by the full totality of the Kingpin's forces. They were told to bring this chicken alive, or this girl, and they're trying to do that. But at the same time, it's not easy. But there was actually Kingpin. While most of his forces were all taken down and webbed up, there actually was right now Annabelle, who she actually did go to someone to lower herself down from a web talking to the guy. She just kind of wants to know what they're all doing. I mean, doesn't he find it bad to be a bad guy? Kid, you gotta shut up. Why? I mean, my dad always told me to talk to people. Figure out the problem. So, what's wrong with you? Sure, kid. Though, did your dad ever tell you to be careful? All the time, why? Her spider's gonna go off. Her gonna spin back around and try and leap through the air. Her kind of forgetting that she's on a web. And right now, whenever she tries to lower herself down to the ground, there actually is Kingpin, who has to throw out his hand, smashing it into her and sending her flying across the room. Her smashing into the wall and then going to turn and get back up. Her going to actually bring her hands up. And there actually is Kingpin, who does go rushing forwards, him throwing out his hands to try and fight her. And right now, there actually is where she tries to pace herself. She tries to make sure to be careful. She doesn't want to hurt him by accident. And Kingpin is going to throw out his hand, grabbing onto her mask and smashing her into the wall. Him then going to actually turn and bring up his hand. Him smashing her across and into the wall again. Now, right now there actually is where Annabelle does try to bring up her hands. Her right now actually going to push the Kingpin away with a lot of force. Him being sent flying up into the air and landing on the ground. Her right now going to bring up her hands. And going to get ready. The Kingpin getting back to his feet as he actually does go to rush forwards again. Her bring up her hands and firing out webs. Them sticking to the Kingpin's face as she actually then going to turn and cartwheel away. Her going to actually throw up her hand and turn, shooting out a web as. Oh no, 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 why now? Her turning to her hand and going to try and shoot out a web again. This time it is going to shoot out, and she does try to swing away. Okay, one-handed now. Okay, her shooting out another web as she doesn't shoot anything. Right now, her flying through the air, and throwing out her hands as she is falling. Her smashing down into a flying car. And the person who's driving, they actually do to see the girl on their hood. Right now, them a lot more alarmed as they do to hit the brakes. And they're actually the hood is get sent flying along with Annabelle. Her being sent flying down to the city below. And crashing down on a vehicle. The girl landing there a bit more alarmed. That definitely hurt. Her gonna sit up. As a person, they're gonna run up and Annabelle is gonna feel her spider ring in her ears. Her turning her head and throwing up her hand. As no webs come out. And the person you just hold up a weapon. Them going to smile. And tell her. Going to bring their finger up to the trigger again. To stand down. Now, there currently is Deku and Cindy. The two are talking on comms, and Deku is trying to tell Cindy about what happened. But Cindy's a lot more alarmed. I mean, she saw Sinister Six get taken down. I mean, taken down. This was a new level of brutality from him. And honestly, it was kind of scary a bit. But Deku did not care. He told Cindy what he found out. And Cindy, she was already annoyed that their daughter was here. But the idea that the Kingpin might have abducted her, it sends her into a rage. And she doesn't care anymore. Right now that may not be her biological daughter, but she helped to fucking raise that girl. From an infant. That is her daughter. And she is angry. Now, Deku and Cindy, the two, they're trying to head around. They try to find out where Kingpin might be. But Kingpin might have found a way to secure himself in Regent's, well, let's just say better favors. And Kingpin, he does have a lot going through his mind. He has a way in, and Regent will definitely love this, won't he? That being on his mind, as currently Deku, he is smashing down into a building. Him going to look around, and he does actually see what's going on. Him smiling. So the reports that Chaco gave him were true. He's got to thank her later. Kingpin! The man looking around, and seeing Spider-Man, who is a step forwards. His costume covered in... Well, this is a new development. Spider-Man. I'm going to step forwards, expressing about it. Is he here to find his daughter, his precious little girl? He is quite surprised and amused. To think after all this time he would have had a family, that he'd still be around in New York. Why didn't he run? There was enough danger, wasn't there? And Deku is still rushing forwards. The Kingpin actually going to bring up a weapon and try to fire at Spider-Man. Deku dodging out of the way of every bullet after the Kingpin pulled the trigger already. And Deku right now does find himself up close and personal with the Kingpin, throwing out his hand and grabbing onto the Kingpins, crushing his fist and the gun itself. Him going to throw up his hand and grab into the Kingpin, pulling him up into the air and smashing him down. And right now the Kingpin, he's a lot more alarmed. As Deku, he does actually going to grab onto the Kingpin again, jumping onto him and bringing out his fist, yelling at him again for his daughter. Him going to smash a spike hookey down into the Kingpin's shoulder. And the Kingpin does go scream out with laughter. Now, Deku, he does get to hear something. Him gonna look up and see the people who are surrounding his daughter, one of them with a gun to her head. And Deku, he immediately looks at the man with anger. Him going to bring up his hand and stand. Him yelling at the man, if he really thinks that that's a good idea. Come on, Spider-Man. Let go of him. Deku going to actually pull out the weapon. Him going to retract it back into his wrist. And try to stay calm. He doesn't want her to see him like this. Him is still staring at the man. And there actually is Cindy. Cindy, she's trying to step forwards. Her trying to tell them about what to do. And Deku, he does just going to focus. Him staring at the man. And the man is going to somewhat look at Spider-Man confused. He's giving him a pretty mean glare. What are you doing? I'm calling them. What? I'm calling the spiders. What? Is he serious? I don't know. I mean, he is Spider-Man, right? Yeah, but can he talk to spiders? I don't know. Just shut up. I think he's bluffing. You think I'm bluffing? What? Thousands of them. Yeah, right. Thousands and thousands of spiders. Coming here right now. My beck and call. Right now, Annabelle gonna turn. Talking about it. He's right. She can hear the spiders. And right now the man is gonna drop the gun. Him gonna turn and bolt, screaming out, "Fuck this!" As the other guy doesn't want to turn back. Spider-Man right in front of him. Him staring at Spider-Man. And someone gonna have his eyes widen and his bladder drained. Now, Deku just stand there. And the man, he just gonna somewhat let go of Spider-Man's daughter and gonna somewhat back away. Him right now with his hands up. And gonna actually spin around and lay down on the ground. His hands behind his back. And Deku, he just gonna wet the guy to the ground. Him going to turn and actually gonna bend down, putting his hand on his daughter's shoulder. What were you thinking? Dad, I'm fine. No, you're not fine. Why did you not stay in... Okay, what we're gonna do is, we're gonna make things quite clear. Okay? We're getting you sent back there, and you are staying there. Dad, you look like the Red Man. Annabelle, I thought people hurt you. Daddy got angry, and he got worried something happened to you. The man over there, Kingpin, he's harmed a lot of people I know. He's hurt people. A lot of people. He's a really bad man. Even Daddy's scared of him sometimes. Okay? That's why he was worried. Okay? Go with Mommy, and Daddy will take care of this, okay? Okay, but uh, am I in trouble? They're gonna stand and tell her, yes, she is. However, they'll deal with that later. They go walking back towards Kingpin, and the man is just won't make a comment. Annabelle. It's a lovely name. And they're gonna just stand above the Kingpin. Him going to actually jump on top of him, and they're gonna bring his hand up. Him gonna grab at his mask and pull it off. And Kingpin is gonna watch on, as he does just stare up at. No fucking way. Izuku Midoriya. Nice to meet you face to face. So, you're the fabled Spider-Man. Now that is unprecedented. I get that. Now, I got one question. Deku bring his hand up, and going to actually shoot the spike out of his wrist, telling the man, exactly does he want to die? Because messing with his family was the easiest way to do so. Him going to actually press it up to his head, and Kingpin is a stare on. He's not intimidated, but Spider-Man is being serious. He can respect that. He'd be worried about his own son, but then again, that boy, he's followed well in his father's footsteps. And right now, Kingpin does a stare on, telling Spider-Man to get it over with already. And Deku, he is actually going to bring his hand up and throw it forwards. And Kingpin does have the consequences come at him. As Deku is going to stand up. I'm going to walk away as that man is stolen to the ground. I'm a lot more surprised about a few things that happened. He heard about half of that stuff. I mean, he heard the name of that girl, and he heard that Spider-Man, he just killed their boss. That was alarming. And right now we do actually cut to Regent. Regent does get the reports. The Sinister Six were all killed. And that is definitely a surprise. Spider-Man is not taking any prisoners. He's... the friendly neighborhood webhead. Him a murderer. This is definitely interesting. Him gonna don't stand. And him going to walk over to the chamber. Him actually going to step inside and try and tell the doctors. He wants them to perform as many tests as they can and tell him what he still does have access to. Right now that room is turning into a bona fide trophy room, and he's getting sick and tired of looking at the heroes but not having their abilities. He wants them all back. Find a way to do it, because otherwise, Latveria, it will be out of his grasp forever. And there also is the fact that Magneto, he is a very powerful threat. His entire suit is made of metal. He wants a way to take him down and have those abilities as well. Once he does get to deal with the mutants, then he wants to deal with Wakanda. Having that place under his influence will be perfect. He'll have the tech to fully, redo his entire network, his system, his suit. He'll have the tech to make himself a god again, be at his former glory. And Spider-Man will just be another obstacle he faced. One in a long line of obstacles he leaped over. Now, the doctor, they do get to perform these tests. And Deku, he started to head out to a few locations. His daughter was taken back to Genosha. And Annabelle, she talked to her brother and sister about what happened. She was a hero in New York City. She fought the bad guys. And Daddy saved her from the bad man. A really bad man. However, she was a little afraid. And Deku, he does try to make comments about what happened. Him trying to at least express to his daughter that she did good, but she wasn't ready yet. Especially because she learned one lesson he learned the first time. Web shooters are important. And Deku, he left her with that lesson. Her going to someone to draw up some designs, as there is where she has someone going to look down. Her just going to watch. And there actually is Ben. Ben is going to bring his hand up. Him going to, right now, bring it up. And try to slice through a apple. Him trying to use the spike in his arm. And he actually does actually bring his hands up and catch both pieces. Him talking about that. You know, he's having a lot of fun using these powers, actually. You sure? Yeah. I mean, we can finally use them and Dad doesn't complain. I mean, Miss Polaris does get angry whenever we web up the city, but it doesn't last that long. Like, it only lasts, like, more than an hour, right? I think Dad said it lasts around 90 minutes. Then again, it's organic, so it shouldn't be bad. Right, right. It doesn't harm anything. Yeah, you're right. Are you two still arguing? Inko gonna walk up. Her holding on to a milkshake. Where'd you get that? I went to the store. Yeah, but where did you get a milkshake? Okay, I may have gone to a burger place without us. I brought you back food, and that's what I'm here to tell you about, idiots. Come on. Miss Polaris wants to talk to you two. You specifically, Anna. Her going to turn and walk away. As you do actually cut over to Izuku. Izuku, the plane is going to land, and out does walk Izuku Midoriya, the man stepping onto the runway, as he does have a lot to say, a lot to do, a few people to talk to, and one man he has a meeting with. One man he knows might be an ally of his, because he is an enemy of Regent. And Deku does bring up his hand. Him going to introduce himself to the esteemed Victor Von Doom, the ruler of Latveria. Now, Deku does shake his hand, expressing, Doctor, Doctor, I believe that we have a lot to discuss. Please, follow me. I'm going to turn and begin to actually guide Deku to where they'll chat. And Deku right now, he does have a lot to do. There's a lot of people he needs to find. A lot of people he needs to talk to. I mean, he's gotten the word that a few people are on his side. I mean, right now there's possibly Magneto, and he hopes their chat actually affected him. I mean, he's still gotta find a way into Wakanda, but Doctor Doom is his best bet. Talk to him and maybe he might know something. A way to get into contact with the Black Panther? Or was he taken by Regent? Okay, that's definitely a problem, but then there's Fury. Shield has Mockingbird, Sandman, Hawkeye in the spot. So far, they've got a good amount of people. But there's still a problem. He needs more allies. He needs to find more people. Maybe after this, he'll go look through that list. He'll try to find that one guy, the one who retired. Though, he's not too sure if he's still around. I mean, his powers are amazing, but if he's dead, they might have a problem. Now, let us cut to the man himself. The man is stand there. He's definitely been through a lot over the years. I mean, he's still teaching and he has yet to retire. Then again, things are definitely a lot more intriguing. He has grandchildren, and things are actually looking up a bit. Though, the world. The world is definitely. Yeah, that is a problem. Though, he's still been able to hide. He's still been able to do quite a lot. It's certainly a bad thing, but it should be fine. I mean, Spider-Man can handle that. Though, the Avengers A, he painted it on the side of a building. He painted it there and he's calling for help. He's asking heroes to assemble. Hmm. You know, maybe stepping out of the retirement phase of his life might be good. He's had to do it a few times, right? Maybe one more time wouldn't be so bad. The man got us on a turn. As Adam, he doesn't leave the university, wondering about what exactly he should do. He calls it quits for today, and he does need to think about this decision properly. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.